I have called this Founder Talk, and I think that we may do this multiple times, but I'm not sure what we're going to call it, but we'll settle on that later. I am here with a couple of amazing people and a couple of great founders, and we're going to talk about how we met and what we are doing. But I'm going to start off with you, Paula. Will you introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about your business?
Oh, wow. So I was hoping you wouldn't come to me first. You know how I operate. But
Ladies first.
I'm jumping all in, jumping all in. Thank you. I am so grateful to be here with two gentlemen that I call my friends now, Greg and Jay. We have a lot of things in common, a lot of things that are different about us that are still very attractive for us to work together. I am a leadership and executive coach. I've been in business now about 10 years. Second career for me, spent over 30 years in corporate leadership in energy utilities area. And when I retired some years ago, pretty young, real young actually, um, was thinking, what would I do? What would I do with the rest of all this energy that I continue to have? And I thought back to what were those things that brought me the most joy when I was in leadership and in corporate. And that was around working with people, with individuals, with teams, helping them to figure out where they were, where they wanted to be, and then helping them walk that path. So, long story, lots of serendipity, lots of grace associated with it. I moved into coaching, became a credentialed coach, still maintain my engineering roots as a licensed professional engineer. Um, but the intersection of that thinking piece of it, the problem solving, and just the joy of being with people brought me to coaching. And I think I'm right where I need to be in this part of my life. So
That's
thank you.
that's amazing. And we're going to talk about how all of us met. But Greg, tell people who you are and what you got going on there, man.
Hi, Greg Richardson here. Honored to meet everyone on the call live. Good to be here with Jay and Paula, who are quick becoming very close, trusted associates and kind of like battle buddies out in the field of war, which is entrepreneurship slash founderhood. Um, a little bit about me: 30 something years active in the cybersecurity industry. Started as a pen tester way back in the, I won't say when, but many years ago, and grew into leadership. I was a CISO. I've worked for many of the largest cybersecurity companies in the world, literally. Had leadership positions and otherwise their sales positions, etc. Now I have kind of branched out on my own, and I take knowledge that I gained from, so cybersecurity was one of the first industries using AI, 20, 25, 30 years ago. So I worked with AI in that context for many years. I saw challenges, one of the big ones being 25 years ago in cyber, people thought, hey, we throw AI at it, it's like out of magic and it'll just fix stuff. And we had to work through that. It took decades of, no, you got to tune it, you got to do this, you got to do that. So with the democratization of I saw an opportunity to work in that space and use the experience that I've gained in actually using AI to help other founders, business people, entrepreneurs, country team leaders, country leaders, company leaders be more effective with their usage of AI. So that's what I do right now. Name of my company is Six Levers. Good to be here, Jay and Paula.
Yeah, and you guys are. I agree with the comments that both of you made about, battle buddies and fast friends as well. So I'm Jay Boykin. I spent the majority of my career in corporate finance and accounting spaces, 30 plus years, and now I am building my own business under my Just Human umbrella. I am a business growth strategist, a transformational strategist working with whether it's solopreneurs on their small businesses or working with mid-sized to large companies to help to deal with engagement and communication and all of those things that still exist today that uh, companies are trying to find that magic sauce around. And I had the opportunity to meet these two amazing people in San Antonio last year. And so we found ourselves all taking a training that's called Lego Serious Play. And we were all in the same cohort. And Greg, tell everybody about, just give them a 30,000 foot view of Lego Serious Play and maybe why you thought that would be a good fit for your business.
Great question. If Google, Virgin Airlines, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, Verizon, Deloitte Consultants, if they all see value in using Lego Serious Play to help them build out strategies, I figured as a consultant, it needed to be something that I was familiar with and eventually, as I am now, as we all are, certified in so that we could use it. So I start off that way usually because people hear Lego and they think, oh, that's a toy. Not a toy. It's not a playtime at all. There's psychological reasons we can get into that conversation, but something about doing stuff with your hands, the tactile, activates parts of your brain for thinking strategically, and it opens up an aperture that's not regularly open. So you're able to be more effective beyond what you could do in a whiteboarding session or a board meeting or a conference room meeting. That's why the biggest of the big companies, especially the ones that are on the cutting edge, that's why they use it for strategy. That's what we all three are certified in as well. And that's why I ended up at the Lego thing. I saw the need for it. And I happen to like Legos, but that's neither here nor there. I saw the need for it and I was like, yeah, this could be something that's useful. In the AI space, a lot of companies struggle with, we want to do AI and they just kind of jump all over it and they spend a lot of money. And then a year later, they show up at my doorstep saying, we've spent, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. We're not seeing the results. Can you help us strategize and think about this? It's a great use case for Lego. So that's why I use Lego.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And it's interesting, Greg, you talked about there's something about that brain piece of it where that fits in. That is actually what drew me into it. I'm just really into the neuroscience of coaching and the ability of the human being to change, to rewire the way they think, and to leverage those parts of our brain that tend to be on auto mode, but we can really leverage those to make real changes in our behaviors and the way that we think. And so Lego, using Lego Series Play allows you to access those parts of the brain. And so that is what brought me into it. And then I coach teams quite a bit in corporate settings. And you all of us have been part of teams. Everybody in the audience likely has been part of teams where you have the people who speak out, the ones who are readily speak up, and you have those who kind of sit back, they process different, their energy levels are different. And so often you lose in these kinds of settings some of the real opportunities to learn things from those people who don't speak up in the same way. Well, what Legos does is allows everybody to be on the same page. It levels the playing field. And that was something I was looking to do. There are lots of exercises and facilitation that you can do that. But honestly, the big piece of what we do when we are training, when we're leading, when we're coaching teams is trying to get everybody engaged and talking and contributing toward and moving in those innovative spaces. Legos allows it to happen. It allows it to happen and brings the hands into it. I love it for that. I absolutely love it for that.
Yeah, I think both of you spoke on that so well because we've all been a part of those meetings. I call them the lean back meetings where you've got 20% of the people are doing 80% of the talking, and the rest of the folks are sitting back either because the space is not made for them to speak up, or they just approach problems differently, and maybe they are not always the first to speak up. And the thing that I love about the Lego Serious Play is that you have the opportunity to you pose a question, you frame it out, and then everybody builds, and you build in silence. There's no judgment that's going on. Everybody builds what that question means to them, with the things that are available. But the other thing that I love, and I would love to get both of your perspectives on this, is that when you're going around the room and everybody has the opportunity to share, Greg doesn't have the opportunity to criticize what I built. He can't say, "Oh no, that's not right. That's not the what we're trying to do here." You can ask questions. What does that brick mean? Does that color signify something? But it makes the space for the openness and the collaboration. So, that's one of my favorite things, is the fact that it really makes a lot of room for that 100% participation.
Yeah, I'm doubling down on what you just said, Jay. I've seen this live in meetings where a leadership team is working through, a problem, and we built out a model and we're talking about it. And suddenly now, if you are critiquing or asking a question about a part of a model, hey, why is this bottleneck right here? You might not have been able to ask that very same question if the bottleneck is attached to this human. And if you did ask that question, hey, why is sales the bottleneck? You've
Right.
immediately antagonized sales. They immediately have their defenses up. But now we can look at it in a collaborative manner and say, look, it's pretty obvious from the build out here that this part has a bottleneck. How do we address this bottleneck? And it takes away the personal. And even just that, super, 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 super helpful. Another place that I found it to be super, super, super helpful, just from a practical, tangible way, to give people an instruction in a limited amount of blocks and say, build out this thing. And you give clear instructions. Everyone has the same tools. Everyone has the same resources to see the vast difference of interpretation of a single, quote unquote, clear instruction with the same tools and the same time frame and the same constraints, to see Jay comes up with something wildly different than Paula does, than Greg does. Just that alone, it's eye-opening. And I've had entire leadership teams go, oh my Lord, I never even realized that you could look at that from a different perspective. And now we're having a conversation. So yeah,
Yeah.
Lego, the LSP, Lego Serious Play LSP, extremely powerful tool in helping teams or individuals communicate better and just ideate in a way that your brain normally doesn't do.
You're right. You're right. The thing is about the bricks, when you are building in silence, quite often, at least this is my experience and also what I've observed as well, people are building things, and sometimes it is almost under the it is under the radar. They're thinking and they're building. And then when you get to the point where you are explaining, what this brick means and what that color represents, sometimes it is a discovery for the individual.
Hmm.
I hadn't thought about that, but I think the green brick means this. And just the realization on people's faces individually about their own bills is just phenomenal to see that happen. And then when you go in and we expand, depending on what kind of build we are ultimately working toward, and you start making the connections between them. So now people are able to not only look at what their piece is, but also how it contributes to the whole as we are making those connections. Boy, the looks on faces, the aha moments, those kinds of things uh, just move. It's moving, frankly, in a way.
The thing that was so interesting about it is that so the three of us came from three different businesses, three different areas. You two live in two different areas of Texas. I live in Colorado. We had never met each other before. And yet, when we started building the I don't even remember what the initial question was, but it was looking at the opportunities and the potential hurdles, challenges that we faced in our respective businesses. And so then we're describing our businesses. And I think that the three of us began to see that there was a connection with the three of us and our businesses right away. And later, we were starting to share connections and talk about the opportunities and the potential hurdles together. And I don't think that that comes out if we're doing it in a whiteboard session. I don't think that that's coming out in a traditional training. I think that that was very unique to Lego Serious Play.
Completely
I, I
agree.
think I think it was the venue, and I don't think I've ever told you, the two of you, this, but this is what it was for me. When I arrived at the site, what, 15, 20 minutes or so before we were getting started, the two of you were already there. And I'm so used to walking into trainings, you know, sessions, whatever, and expecting to be the only person like myself in the room. And when I walk in and I see you all, and you all immediately turn to me and welcome me, that was a huge opener. And so many of us in this space have had similar experiences throughout their careers and their lives. And so I want to say to you, both of you all publicly here, thank you for that. I know you didn't have any real control over that. We were all there for a reason, a purpose. But that really helped to open the door for me as somebody who's tends to be rather reserved, takes a little while to warm up. It was immediate warm up, and I want to thank both of you for that.
That is so powerful, Paula.
Very much.
Um, that is, I have gotten, and this kind that for me that shifts the conversation somewhere. This conversation somewhere different, but a good place. I have gotten so used to walking into whatever room I'm walking into most of the time. As a founder, I just spent a lot of time at a lot of VC meetings. Walk into most VC meetings, I'm the only person that looks like me. Walk in my cybersecurity career, all 30 something years of it. Most places I walk into, I'm the only person that and the higher up you go, the worse it gets. I was so fortunate that I had a CEO at one of the large publicly traded cybersecurity companies, at that time, the largest one. He looked like me and he kind of mentored me. Thank God for that. But all of the customers, you walk in to talk to the CEO of this and the CEO of that, you always are fighting this really, really strongly inferred imposter syndrome. So yeah, I definitely noticed in the room the same thing as well about Jay and yourself, and I was like, oh, this is unusual, this is refreshing, and I liked it. Not that I feel particularly unwelcomed when it's not
Sure.
that way, but as a human, as a founder, it absolutely makes a difference if every room you walk into, you programmatically are being demonstrated to that you're the outlier here, bro. You're the and I hate to use the term, but you're the minority.
Yeah.
And most people are cool with it. I've had like two or three examples in my professional career where I was the leader in the room from my company or from the company that sent me, but the customer didn't want to shake my hand because they assumed I was the junior guy. I've had maybe two instances of that over 30 years. So most of the time, people are not jerks about it. But
Sure.
still, it puts something in your head. when you're never seeing yourself. So yeah, I that's a huge statement there, Paula. Thanks for saying that.
Yes.
How did you both feel? So for me, and I echo all of the comments that you've made. I think that one of the unique things about LSP is that it sort of levels the playing field a little bit if the facilitation is done the right way. And we had a great instructor, a great person who taught us over those 4 days that we were together. But if done the right way, everybody, no matter what your title is, no matter what you're doing in the company, you're going to have the same voice, the same opportunity to speak as the people on the C-suite.
Yes.
And so I think that that is what makes it so powerful.
Yeah.
And it gave us the opportunity to. I still believe that any other facilitation methodology that we learn, we're not connecting in the same way.
It's harder. It's definitely harder. It can be done in traditional facilitation ways, but it is so much more difficult to do than it is when you are on the same page physically with Lego Series Play.
And
Absolutely.
another benefit with the Lego Serious Play is it's a very quick, or let me say it's the same benefit, but it's I think what also contributes to making it valuable. It's a very quick equalizer in the room because probably half the people have never used the Lego blocks. So, and especially if some of the more senior leaders have never used, had never touched, never, that's not the thing they did, they automatically take a, not a step back, but they automatically are slightly disadvantaged. And they now need to get caught up. And just that alone is a game changer. I've done this in like cohorts where a bunch of us are training, and the person that starts off with the dude, I've never even touched Lego blocks before. By the end of the session, an hour into it, he's the most prolific, and he's caught up, and he's sharing, and he's open. I've had introverts that start out, I don't like talking in general, and 15, 20, 30 minutes in, they're sharing all kinds of stuff. Well, this block means, my I had issues with my relationship with my dad, and that's why I put that there. Something about the nature of the tangible, and it just triggers a lot. And there's been real studies done on that. I'm not just saying that because I think it. I do think it, but there's been real psychological studies done on why touching stuff with the fingers. That's why in the olden days, so to speak, you'd hear a lot about people whittling, with a knife, and that's where it's not where it comes from, but it's tied to it. Something about doing the manual thing with your hand triggers parts of your brain that, especially in our society today, where a lot of it is virtual and a lot of it is done on a godforsaken telephone. Woo! Yes, something about hand. I'm actually tactile doing something. It's impactful, very, very impactful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important to note that when you start out with a Lego Serious Play session, there's always a quick build, so everybody gets some skill in manipulating the bricks and picking them out and that kind of thing. So even if people have never touched a Lego brick, it happens really quickly, and we take the time to do that. And second thing, shout out to Gloria
Oh,
De
I know.
Leon, our trainer. Absolutely.
Yeah, she was a beast,
Now,
absolute
yeah.
beast.
Beast.
Now I have to shout out Gloria as well. And so Gloria is her English is not her first language. She does an amazing job, but English is not her first language. And I felt that the Legos using the bricks is sort of a great equalizer
On
where
language too. Yep.
you're doing the vast majority of the hard work in silence. And that's what she was teaching us was, she was teaching us to make sure that facilitation method uh, that took place, and that was the most powerful thing, and that it can be a great equalizer, whether you've got potential language barriers, you've got level barriers, whatever the case may be. um, Using those bricks can be the great equalizer. And I also feel that there were things that I shared things through the bricks that I likely wouldn't have shared otherwise. Talking about the fears, the imposter syndrome, all of the things that come with being a founder. When we're building these things with bricks, and we're showing these obstacles, and we've got sharks and all of these other things that are in our build, and then you start speaking to it. Yeah, I think that things came out that otherwise would not have come out.
You're
Totally
right.
agreed.
You're right.
Totally agreed.
Absolutely. And I think, it was interesting to see kind of the all the materials that Gloria came with. And as we are picking through the boxes for particular bills, the different things that we could bring in, you think, okay, it's just going to be bricks, but yeah, there were sharks, there were elephants, there were you name it, we had it in a Lego brick, and we had it. It was incredible
Yeah.
to be able to use those, and to use those to communicate uh, really deep and complex ideas and feelings and emotions.
Yeah, in case any of the audience is saying, "Oh, I've never even heard of this," or I haven't used this before," this is one of those interesting, very innovative, extraordinarily cutting-edge technologies where the U.S., North America, actually lags the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So you see, this is very, very, very prevalent in Europe and like all over the place. The UAE. I've used this in Latin America myself with governments. Like a government brought me in to have an AI session using LSP in Latin America. Like, could you please just walk us through this? Because we're struggling with the AI stuff, and we've tried whiteboarding sessions, we've tried, classrooms, and this was the only thing that worked for them. But it's still kind of newish. So if anyone in the audience is listening and thinking, "No, I've never really heard of this," do a couple of Google things on Lego Serious Play, and you'll see how serious it is, and probably worth you taking some time and looking into it. If you have a strategy team, and Gloria and Jay add to this if I'm missing anything, but for sure, strategy, team, or communications issue that you are either trying to clarify or work through, or a problem in one of those three areas you're trying to speak, LSP is extraordinarily well suited for it. And there, like I said, there's probably others that I missed too.
Yeah. So Jay, did he just call me Gloria again?
He did. Well, at least he didn't call you Sonia. He didn't call
That's
you
right. It
Sonia
was
this
Sonia. He
time.
didn't call me Sonia this time.
Yeah,
I will answer to
right.
Sonia for
So,
you, Greg.
Fair, fair. My
yeah. So for folks, when over the 4 days that we were together, we got on the thing of calling Paula Sonia, and then it just became like her alter ego. We just kept calling her Sonia throughout the entire thing. So that was that was amazing. Now, Sonia, I want you to do me a favor and
Yes.
describe to people, they're thinking about Legos, and do they have to go out if someone is wanting an engagement where they're using Lego Serious Play? What do they have to get in terms of materials?
Yeah. So the facilitators generally bring them in, bring them along. Once we sit down and have a conversation about what it is that a potential client is wanting to accomplish via Lego Series Play, it gives us an idea of what kinds of materials we want to bring. So we bring them in. Clients can have some of their own. We will help them to figure out what those materials may be, but we can bring them in. Absolutely.
And Greg, were you surprised to find out? I think that you knew a little bit more than I did, and I think that you are have been a bigger Lego fan. I think that, you've got some things there in your office that are Lego, but I was actually especially um, surprised to find out that they've got these kits that are specifically geared for Lego Serious Play and for specific aspects of LSP.
Yeah, connectivity, communications, etc. Yeah, it is a very vibrant environment. And while that didn't shock me that it was so vibrant, because and I'm sorry, the only reason I walked in with a bit more of awareness is because I happened to have sat through a couple where a company or some organization that I was a part of happened to have used it. So I was like, oh my God, this is really powerful stuff. So then I started studying it and using it myself. What amazed me with LSP and being in the training and the facilitation training by Gloria, the actual Gloria, not you, Paula.
The real one,
What
yes.
amazed me even more about it is the deliverables. You walk, like if you sit in a session and you get a facilitated Lego Serious Play session, you get, like, it's mandatory. The facilitators, us, we have to give you a deliverable, like a strategy document that's not a slide deck with 3 slides, like an actual. We spent a day together, we spent 4 hours together, we spent 2 hours together, and this was the outputs of it. This is what your team said. These were the problems we were trying to solve. These are the things we discussed. So even during it, the note taking and the very meticulous, detail oriented nature of the work that the facilitator, us, needs to do, that blew me away probably more than anything else. Because it's not just a, hey, here's a playtime, and then, hey, we're great, we had some fun, let's go ahead and leave. Oh no, you actually walk away with a strategy document, a communications plan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's really powerful.
Yeah,
There's lots of
and
work that's done up front too,
Yeah.
much beyond just getting enough information so we can submit a proposal. It is talking through bit by bit, frankly, brick by brick, as part of the discovery discussions. We are working with bricks. We ask the potential client, we bring bricks in, and we are working along with them to build it. So they get an experience right off the bat before there's before they sign on the dotted line, before they make any decisions at all. They get to experience it even in the discovery phase.
100%.
Who
And
are those people, Jay?
I wanted to share this picture here because there's the three of us, Greg and I on the bookends, and Paula there next to me. This the woman next to Greg was our other participant in our cohort, Christine. But then right there in the middle is Gloria, and this is the end. We're close to graduation at this point in time, but you can see that we put together a system. So we built a bunch of individual pieces, but then we started showing the connections. We use these different tools to show connections to the entire ecosystem that we built. And we had the opportunity to talk about failure points, potential failure points. And so, this is a very intricate um, uh, series of builds that you are doing, and you just keep building one on top of the other there. So I just wanted folks to see what it is that we were working with, and these are all tools that we as facilitators can bring in and help companies solve a lot of different problems.
Yeah, it was a heck of a week. And just for those that are wondering, was it 4 days, 5 days? Like, it was a multiple day, all day in the training, all day build, tear down, discuss, plan, build, tear down. Like, it was a lot of work. It was not just playing with some Legos. And like we came out of it with the strategy of, we should be meeting and just as founders ourselves, we should, continue. And it was last year, right? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
last year, Octoberish, maybe. I don't remember exactly, but it was months ago, and we've stayed in touch, and we've been building and working together, and talking through consulting gigs and how can we do this better, and hey Paula, what's your perspective on this? That's one of the things that has been a big deal for me, as a founder in general. I've founded multiple businesses over my career. Not walking the path alone and having a sounding board, having other humans, not AI. I'm the AI guy. I love AI. Don't fool yourself. AI can't replace what a human can do. Having other humans that I could reach out to and say, hey, Jay, you have a different purview than me. You're a CFO. What do you think about XYZ? And getting his perspective on it, huge value as a founder. I found when I'm isolating, that's usually a huge red flag that I'm about to screw up at a huge scale. So just having the relationship and being able to communicate and build together with Paula and Jay. And when I say build together, we don't own a business together,
Right.
but we're building together, and we collaborate like pretty much on a weekly basis. We have some kind of a talk or a call.
Yeah.
And I hope we do more like this publicly, where other people can chime in, ask questions, join, whatever, et cetera, as well. So
Yeah, I think that we should, and I'll be really transparent, because I'm newer on this founder journey than my two friends here, and I have really valued their counsel when it comes to different things. And just recently, we were talking through the challenges of putting together a proposal, and you start putting numbers in there. And, for me, I immediately started second guessing myself on what I put in there, and wanting to start to discount it before the prospective client even sees it. And I have to tell you, it was so meaningful to be able to reach out to the two of you and be vulnerable and tell you about that, but then to have each of you come back and say, yep, I struggle with that as well, and here are the things that I've been working on to try to do it. And the two of you read my proposal, and you gave me your thoughts on it. And so I think that having that type of those people in your life, having a place, people that'll hold you accountable, people that'll challenge your assumptions, and maybe challenge where you might be anchored in. I think that um, all of us as individuals need that, but I think that especially as founders, it's so easy to isolate. And I think that having individuals like you in my life is making me stronger. And so thank you both for that.
Same
feeling
for
is very
me.
mutual. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm curious, and we're going to start to wrap up because I know that each of you have some things going at the top of the hour. Um, I'm curious, and Paul, I'm going to come to you first. Going back to LSP, um, how have you added LSP into your tools that you use? Is it just another strong tool that you can use in a multitude of different things that you can offer a client? Or did you find yourself starting to maybe push some other things out, leaning more towards LSP?
That's a great question. So for me, LSP is a tool in the toolkit that I am building as I transition more of my coaching practice to teams. So coaching teams. I think I will always have one-to-one clients. I love coaching senior leaders in organizations and being a thought partner with them because frankly I learn more about their business and about them and about different ways of doing things as I do that coaching as much as I am providing support that they are having that they don't have inside of their organizations. But coaching teams allows me to have more impact. You know, when you coach people individually, so often you're sending them back into the same environment. And while they may have been working really hard on behavior change and are committed to it, if you send them back into the same environment, it's really hard to maintain that growth and to stay the course with that. But when you build a team, when you support a team, then they are taking their culture with them. And the higher the team is in the organization, the more that will translate into better workings all throughout the organization. So LSP is is one of those tools that's in that particular tool pouch. Actually, it's a tool. It's a whole tool shed. I'm building out the whole shed here, and LSP is a big piece of that.
That's
If
awesome.
I may chime in and answer that same question, Jay, I feel like you were coming back to me either
Yeah.
way. Um, Paula, you just dropped a bar. That and I'm going to underscore it because transparently, it never occurred to me that the people-centric side of what you just said is exactly what I am battling against from the technology side as well with my customers. So you said you could do individual mentoring and coaching, but if that person is working on themselves and doing the right things, etc., but they're going back to I don't want to say broken, but they're going back to an unchanged environment, you're limited in the scope of what you can do. That's exactly what we struggle with technology. And it's not just an AI problem, it's a technology broadly problem. So 30 years ago, whatever the time frame was, when the internet popped up, the same I've been in this space for a long while, so I can trust me when I tell you, the same struggles we have today around AI. How do we secure it? Should we allow it as a corporation? Should we try to figure out who's doing it and block it? And should we only give them access to this but not this? Exact same questions we had about the internet many, many years ago. There
Hmm.
were entire companies that existed trying to categorize the internet so that companies could say, we give you access to the internet, but you can't look up anything having to do with guns or movies
Yep.
because we only want you doing work stuff. Now, that would be ludicrous. Like, no company does that anymore now. But that was how we approached it. And that's exactly how we're approaching something like AI, for example. So, how I use LSP, LSP is my lead off hitter. It is the primary thing that I lead with because I've learned that if I can help an organization think better about the technology before they even touch the technology, we can have a real meaningful, impactful journey with that organization. We can make real changes, real improvements, real efficiency things, real revenue benefits. Versus if I come in and hey, I'm gonna tune your AI that you're using for marketing. I'm gonna help you set that up. If I could help you think better about why are you even using AI for marketing? Is AI for marketing, is that the best thing that your company needs to use AI for? Let's take a step back. Let's assess strategically where your company sits today, the whole thing, and then figure out what the next step is. Literally the best tool I've found for that is LSP.
Yeah.
I have not found a better tool, also partially because LSP is non-technological. So it forces them in a room with no technology for a hot second, because you get into the tech rooms with these tech people, everyone has 12 PowerPoint decks that they want to show you, and come, let me just go to the command line and quickly nope, pause all of that
Nope.
intentionally, and let's think strategically, like why do you even want to do AI?
Yeah.
What's the right place to put AI? LSP uncut like it's like opening a sardine can. It yanks the cover off. It just flies off, and suddenly data starts coming out. Oh, actually, the sales group doesn't even think it's a good idea. The marketing group hates the AI stuff, but someone saw it on CNBC, and they said we're going to do marketing with AI, and now we're stuck with marketing for AI. So yeah, LSP is it has been a game changer in my firm, and it continues to be the primary thing I go to bat with first. It's number one. And then after that, we'll have a conversation around the technology. Great
Yeah.
question, Jay.
Yeah, I want to answer the same thing. I'm going to be a little rude here for a second because there's something over here that I need to grab. So hold on.
That's not rude.
Is it Legos?
It is Legos. And
Boom.
so here's the reason why I think that LSP is so powerful. So what you see here, these are six, the 2x4 blocks. And this is a data point that was quoted on that Lego uses, that you can take six of the exact same bricks. Any guess as to how many different combinations, possibilities there are just from these six bricks? The number's huge.
I thought it was thousands or like 60,000. It was crazy huge. Yeah.
No, it's even bigger than that. It's and I'm not a mathematician. I'm just gonna assume that Lego, since they published it, that they did their homework on it, that there are 900 million
Woo.
combinations that you can do just from positioning and the way. And so the reason why I love this is that if you think about these bricks as our people. And I talk about this. So I have an entire ecosystem that I'm developing that is called the Just Human experience. And I use another tool called Insights Discovery that's part of the individual aspect of that. But when you get to the team, the connection to others, the connection to a shared purpose, these bricks are meaningless, absolutely meaningless apart. The power comes in the connection.
It's in the connection.
And if we think about our people, our teams, that's where the power comes in. And that's why LSP is such a powerful tool, because it's through the connections of those bills, the sharing of those bills, and then figuring out how those individual bills connect to one another, the dependencies, the synergies. I know that's a word that people don't love anymore, but the synergies, that's where the real power comes in. So Lego Serious Play is not the only tool, but it is a powerful tool in my toolbox.
Huge,
So
huge, Jay.
this has been an amazing conversation. I think that, Greg, you alluded to this earlier. I think that we just got to keep doing these, and we're not going to talk about Legos every time, but we can talk about, some of the real things that we as founders are dealing with, and I know that there's other people out there that are dealing with similar challenges. So I think that we should just keep coming back and pick a topic and lean in on it.
I'll be here
I
for sure.
agree.
I love it. Thanks for the thoughts and for kind of spinning up and putting this together, Jay. Sorry for cutting you off, Paula.
No, no, no worries at all. And I was going to add, anybody out there who's interested in learning a little bit more, whether it's LSP, whether it's us and the work that we do inside of our businesses, you can reach us on LinkedIn. The names are right there. Just reach out. We'll be happy to follow up with you. No charge for the good questions. Love having those
Absolutely.
conversations. Love having the conversations.
And oh, by the way, depending on the type of engagement that you want, you might get two or three of us. We could collaborate. You could get all of us. So yeah, there's that benefit as well. So, well, Paula, Greg, I appreciate your time, and for those that are taking the time to check us out and to listen, we appreciate you. And we'll figure this out, and we're going to come back with more editions of the Founder Talk. I don't know if that's going to be the name, but we'll figure something else out on it.
Found a talk. I
Yeah,
like it.
Same
awesome.
here.
All right, thanks everybody.
Bye, everybody.